It is Thursday night, and we are live for the Sim Auto Racing Association Pierce Fleet Service Super Series. Tonight, it's round number 6. The Caudle captures 100 from the Richmond Motor Speedway. I am Jeff By Jr., joined by Bill Tomer in the broadcast booth. And Bill, we've got a little experience so far with the late model stock at Richmond, and it's been thrillers of races every time we've seen these cars here.
Yeah, we had our preseason race here at ITZR, Jeff, and we enjoyed it. We had a good time watching the racing here. But talking to some of these drivers, I mean, it's kind of interesting when you speak to some of these guys. They're calling this Daytona, but we didn't have that experience last time. So I'm looking forward to this race, Jeff. They sound like they're not. I think it's going to be an interesting mix as we go through the night.
Well, it is open setups. These guys are going pretty fast. They're generally a little bit more hooked up than you'd see in fixed setup racing. So a lot of on throttle time here, but you know what that means? It means you're abusing the tires when you're full throttle through the center of the corner. So 100 laps here, tire management might be a key. We've seen this place work out for guys to really do the ultra tire saving deal where they, hang around in the back all night.
We did. We also saw the opposite, right? We saw a rabbit go out and try to lap the field here at Richmond. Now, granted, that was a very large field of race cars. Unfortunately, tonight, the Super Series only has about 22 drivers that have showed up for tonight's race. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys play the strategy. Like you said, I think we're going to have to see some tire saving because they are flying around this place and they got to go around it 100 times.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are getting set to go. The field's going to start taking to the grid here for tonight's Caudle Captures 100, round number 6 of the Pierce Fleet Service Super Series. Bill, just 21 entries tonight, lowest car count we've seen at SARA, but a lot of regulars kind of missing tonight. I think a lot of people busy with the real-life racing in full swing.
It looks like we had a 22nd driver sneak in at the last second, Jeff. It might have been Dustin Momberquette. So I think we're going to actually have 22 start the race.
I think it's actually Richie Murray.
He did sneak in? Okay.
Late entry, possibly. Well, here we go. On the pole for tonight's feature event, Daniel Pope, the second, in car number 16, going to start from the front row. On the outside of him, in the 8 machine, it'll be John Ouellette.
Josh Caudle's going to roll off P3 and the number 13 machine. A little bit of a different look for him this week. And on the outside of him in the number 6, it's Joe Schaefer Jr.
Starting 5th tonight, the 60 car, Parker Traves. On the outside of him, the Matthew Designs Pole Award winner, the 72, it's Ryan Kuhn.
Starting 7th on the grid is the number 32 car of Trevor Edwards, and 2 is outside of number 33. A sub driver this week, it's Shane Williamson.
Starting 9th tonight in the 16 machine will be Dustin Momberquette. On the outside of him, in car number 18, it's Cole Cabrey.
Aaron Johnson, fresh off his Contender Series win last night, he's going to start P11 in the number 78, and on the outside, it is the number 66 of Eric Tracy.
Starting 13th in car number 88, it'll be Kyle Meyer. On the outside of him in the 14th starting position, it's the 65 of Aaron Abendroth.
Starting in the 15th position is the 07 of Kyle Martinson, and starting 16th in the number 6, it's Spencer Dickinson.
Starting 17th in car number 91, it'll be Dylan Bates. On the outside of him in the number 25, it'll be Devin Rogers.
Kyle Eli rolls off P19, the number 21, and on the outside of that row, that'll be the 10th row, it's a 0 car, Matt Rolfe.
And your final row of starters tonight in the 24, it'll be Sean Cool. On the outside of him, this driver did not get a qualifying lap, but going to start at the rear of the field, the 110 of RS Center.
And Jeff, I think Devin Rogers actually has a number 96 on his car. I think he's subbing for, that's supposed to be an Eric Myers car. It's supposed to be in the Super Series. Devin driving the 96 for that team. That's a Revelry Racing car.
You're right. It is 96. I saw the paint scheme, and I'm thinking, oh, that's the 25 he normally runs. But you're right. It is the 96 tonight for Devin Rogers. Well, Phil doing some pace laps here as we get set to go racing for the Caudle Captures 100 tonight. Daniel Pope on the pole. No, not necessarily an invert here, but these guys, the top 10 starters are inverted based on a reverse order of where they are in the point standing. So Daniel Pope going to go to the front of the field, having a bit of a struggle of a season, and he's been a little frustrated this year just because he hasn't had very many good runs, and tonight's a night for him to change it, starting from the pole.
Well, some of the race teams let us in, Jeff. They let us take a listen to what they're saying before the races. Daniel's very self-deprecating. He doesn't think he's very good anymore. I don't want to. We call him the old man, but he's not that old, and just doesn't feel like he's up to the top of his game anymore. And here he is starting on the pole. He had a good qualifying effort, like you said. Points put him on the pole. I think we're probably going to see the pace car duck off here, Jeff.
It does, and Daniel Pope the second, John Ouellette on the front row. We are racing in the Caudle Captures 100 here at Richmond, and we're going to watch and see who's going to try to go to the front. Is anybody going to try to fall back and save tires? Right now, Daniel Pope jumps out to the lead. Behind him, Josh Caudle jumps into second. Joe Schaefer already trying to take third away from John Ouellette. Ryan Kuhn's going to dive down the inside as well. Another interesting thing for tonight's race, the final round of the Davis Chassis Works Team Tournament. It's the Shot versus RKM, and that's Ryan Kuhn Motorsports, and that's the 72 right now. Just jumped into the 4th spot, but the guy ahead of him, Josh Caudle, running second, that 13 machine part of the shop. If they finish ahead of RKM tonight, they would win that tournament.
That is the Davis Chassis Team Championship here in the SARA Super Series.
Guy we're pretty familiar with, Jeremy Davis. Haven't seen him on the sim in a long time, but still doing big things for sim racing. As Daniel Pope down the back straightaway. Josh Caudle is starting to pull in on that 16 machine.
Shane Williamson just lost a spot in the BSRM car. As Trevor Edwards starts to make his way forward. Now he's going to get a challenge as well from Dustin Momberket. Momberket going to look to the inside of turn 1.
Joe Schaefer to the inside of Josh Caudle off turn 2. This is going to let Daniel Pope build a bit of a gap between first and second. Here, Schaefer takes the spot. Now Ryan Kuhn going to go down the inside. He's going to try to take this spot away from Josh Caudle. And he can put that RKM team in firm control of the Davis Chassis Works Team Tournament right now as he slips into the 3rd spot. Caudle already trying to come back underneath the 72 of Ryan Kuhn. Kuhn up the racetrack. Nope. Now, Bill, I do think the pace is a little bit slower. They're about 0.3 off what they qualified for, so it does seem like Pope has kind of set a pace out front, and some of these guys behind him maybe saving just a bit here.
Yeah, I think they're going to save somewhat, right? I mean, you don't want to burn the tires off the car. Really no point to it. Yeah, Pope's going to sit out there and try to set a pace, and I know he felt pretty good about his race setup versus his qualifying setup, but he still had a pretty good qualifying effort. Now Joe Schaefer Jr. going to close in on the number 16 car. But that's what's interesting about this type of race and this racetrack, Jeff, and this type of car here is that Pope might be backing off just a little bit, but Schaefer could decide he wants to go faster and might just drive by him.
Yeah, and as you said that, Schaefer last time by ran a 22.4. Daniel Pope had to answer. He ran a 22.5, so he's definitely picked up the pace a little bit now that Schaefer has. So they originally started out in the 22.6s. They're about up about a 1/10 of a second because Daniel Pope is starting to feel the pressure, and look behind that, they're starting to build a gap back to Ryan Kuhn and Josh Caudle.
You just don't want to go too hard too early, but Pope might want to control this pace. Now Josh Caudle going to look back to the inside of Ryan Kuhn.
And Pope's going to let the 6 go now. So he moves up the racetrack. He said, you know what? You want to run that hard? Go ahead. Be my guest. And he's going to let Joe Schaefer take off here into the lead. New race leader, lap number 10 when they cross the line.
So Joe Schaefer Jr., your new leader. Daniel Pope drops to 2nd. Caudle just took 3rd away from Ryan Kuhn. Kuhn back to 4th. Right behind them, John Ouellette. He started on the outside. Now he's getting pressure from Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards to the inside through 1 and 2. That's a battle for 5th.
Yeah, your Super Series points leader, Trevor Edwards, in the 6th spot, trying to take 5th away from John Ouellette. He's up on the outside line behind them. That's the 60 of Parker Traves working his way forward.
Working lap 12 in this 100 lap race here at Richmond. Trevor Edwards goes by John Wallet. Now here comes Parker Traves to the inside. Traves going to look for that 6th spot. Wallet possibly saving tires, Jeff, in that purple number 8.
Yeah, Parker Traves trying to take away this position as well. Behind them, that's Dustin Mombercat. That's starting to gain on this group. Roulette's got an opportunity now to finally drop in line, and he's going to take that chance and get down in front of the 16 of Dustin Mombercat. And then behind them, that's the 78 of Aaron Johnson, who just won a Contender Series race last night. He's running 9th right now. Looks like Cole Cavery's under fire as well from the 88 of Kyle Meyer. And I think that was Kyle Eli in the 21 also took a look. They were almost 3 wide down in the turn 1. Eli backed out of it.
We saw Kyle Martinson in the 07 car, got up and kissed the wall in the number in that white machine there. Right as we got onto the back straightaway coming off turn 2, it looked like he got the right rear bank got off the wall. Not a whole lot of damage on the 07, but not something you want to do too many times here in this race car.
See Dylan Bates there taking a look underneath Kyle Martinson. Bates started near the rear of the field. We were actually listening to them during qualifying, and Dylan went into qualifying. He decided to try a different setup he hadn't practiced with, and didn't work out for him in qualifying. It's Kyle Eli and the 88 Kyle Meyer battle.
Kyle versus Kyle right here.
Kyle.
I mean, what race series top end? Oh, and now Kyle Meyer gets up into the wall. We just saw Martinson. That's 3 Kyles and a Shane right there.
Yeah, Shane going to take advantage of that. That's the fill-in driver tonight for Brett Suggs. I believe Brett is at Hickory tonight for the pro late race.
Actually, no, he wasn't. Remember, he was going to, I believe, Detroit, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
He ran with us on Monday night and took a early flight the next morning. He didn't want to take a flight at night because he wanted to run at ITCR. He had to put Shane in the car for the Thursday night series as he has prior commitments.
Well, Dustin Mombercat going to take a look underneath the 8 of John Ouellette. This is a battle for 7th on the racetrack. And Mombercat going to take that spot. Now Ouellette going to maybe fall into the grasp of Aaron Johnson here. Still Joe Schaefer out front, about 0.4 of a second lead over Daniel Pope. Josh Caudle, Ryan Kuhn, Trevor Edwards, Parker Traves, Dustin Mombercat, John Ouellette, Aaron Johnson, Cole Cavery, your top 10. And this field's starting to get really strung out. Watching towards the back, though, Matt Rolfe and Devin Rogers have kind of fallen way behind the field and possibly just going into that ultra tire saving mode, but they got to be careful here not to fall too far behind the field, because we did see it in our preseason race here at Richmond where these guys that hung out in the back, they almost went a lap down.
Yeah, they're way back there. There's a couple of cars kind of within shouting distance of them, but right now Devin Rogers, Matt Rolfe, they're way out back.
Yeah, it almost feels like in order for this strategy to work, you're going to need to catch a yellow. But as strung out as they are right now, that could be a while before we see a caution flag, as Parker Traves starting to gain on Trevor Edwards here. He's going to put the pressure to the 32 machine. It's a battle for the 5th spot.
Oh, Cavery just went around. Actually, looks like John Wallet Cole Cavery up to the 9th spot. Here comes Kyle Eli as well. Aaron Johnson had gone around Wallet, so John Wallet dropping the anchor here, Jeff. He started on the outside pole, and he's falling back to the 10th spot. Now Kyle Eli going to look to take that spot away as well, so move Wallet back to 11.
Yeah, possibly the 8's just saving right now as he's going to let the 21 machine go. Behind them, that's Shane Williamson. Williams is going to dive down there, and he wants to get to the inside of the 8 machine before he's able to find the bottom groove. Well, this race is taken away pretty quickly. We're already 25 laps in, quarter of the way through this one. Caution free so far.
Big racetrack, right? Big wide place. 22 cars.
Ouellette did get passed by Shane Williamson, so he's going to drop back into the 12th position.
Spencer Dickinson making a move on Kyle Martinson, moves Spike up to the 15th spot. Got some more tire savers behind that group. Jeff, Sean Cool, and Aaron Abendroth have fallen off the back end of the field.
RS Spencer back there as well, and he is one of those RKM drivers, so I kind of like the way that they're splitting this for the RKM. You're gonna have one guy back there saving one guy up front running hard, and hopefully you end up in a situation where it works out for one of you, right? Where all the shop cars are currently running up in the top 5 or top 10.
Back out front, take a look at Joe Schaefer Jr. continuing to lead this race. You can see that train of cars behind him, as most of the field is kind of nose to tail. There's some gaps in between.
It's like Shane Williamson was trying to get underneath Kyle Eli. Now Eli is going to look underneath Cole Cabry. Not going to be able to get there, and that kind of set up his entry kind of awkward, and Shane Williamson might have a run down the back straightaway here in this 33 car.
You see those cars kicking a little bit sideways, Jeff. Look at the I guess, strip of rubber that they've started to lay down in the corners. Especially coming off of turn 2 when they're getting back on the throttle. The car's kicking sideways just a little bit. Really dark strip in turn 2.
Yeah, if you're seeing rubber on the racetrack, that means they're burning it off the tire. So that's right. That's not a good sign. Yeah, not sure you want to see that. Not this early in the race, at least. Ryan Kuhn putting the pressure to Josh Caudle. He's going to dip out underneath him, go down the front straightaway. Going into turn 1, Kuhn has the inside. Caudle not going to fight him too hard here. And as I say that, he fights back down the back straightaway. Looked like he checked up a little bit early going into turn 3. Going to let the 72 clear. Maybe try the crossover. No, he's going to stick to the outside here. To move the RKM team back to the front in the team challenge. Now Cole Cabry has caught Aaron Johnson, and he's starting to put some pressure on him because he's feeling the heat from behind with Kyle Eli and Shane Williamson back there. So here comes the 18 up the inside of Aaron Johnson.
One of those situations where you're like, I have to go, man. There's nothing else I can do. I just have to try to go by you. Aaron Johnson said, that's fine, go ahead.
That's going to allow the 21 as well to be there. Shane Williamson's lined up on the inside. You can see he's already ready to keep that 78 to the outside line. John Ouellette back there as well, trying to get in the mix of this battle.
Well, Kyle Eli might for a second there drive underneath Cole Cabry going down into turn number 1. He did not. Shane Williamson able to get alongside as well. Trying to put Aaron Johnson back here a bunch of spots as here comes Ouellette, and behind him Kyle Myers, not that far behind.
Well, Kyle Eli started 19th tonight. He is now up to 9th as Shane Williamson going to take over the 10th spot as Aaron Johnson falls back. John Ouellette going to try to get around Aaron now. Still out front at Joe Schaefer by 0.6 of a second over Daniel Pope. Ryan Kuhn into the 3rd spot. Josh Caudle, Trevor Edwards, your top 5. Parker Traves runs 6th. Dustin Monmarquette 7th. Cole Cabry, Kyle Eli, and Shane Williamson, your top 10. Aaron Johnson back underneath John Ouellette, kind of did the crossover there.
It's something we see in this late model stock, Jeff, is that the car that makes the pass doesn't necessarily have the momentum. The car that was on the top side does, and is able to cross them over down the straightaway, especially long straightaways like this. So Aaron Johnson able to go back by John Ouellette. He'll move back into that 11th spot.
And now Kyle Eli underneath Cole Cabry through 1 and 2 down the back straight. Cabry's going to try to get back to the bottom. He does before Shane Williamson's able to get inside position on the 18. So move Eli up into the 8th position when they cross the line. And again, he started 19th, so candidate for the Jeff By Jr. Art Hard Charger Award tonight.
good racing so far at Richmond, Jeff. This is kind of what we expected. I'm a little bit surprised how tight every single car is to the bottom. We ran our race here earlier in the season. Granted, it was one of the first times these guys had ever been at a late model stock. Cars were fanning out all over the place.
Yeah, again, I think that has a little bit more to do with the open setup. These guys are going a little bit faster. Yeah. Parker Traves trying to put some pressure to Trevor Edwards here for the fifth spot. Edwards going to just back out of it, lets the 60 go. So Traves made the move. Trevor Edwards said, go ahead, take the spot for now. Parker Traves up into the fifth spot. Shane Williamson also looking underneath Cole Cabry. Ooh, Cabry backed out of it. He almost came down a little early. Had to check up once again for the 33 of Shane Williamson, but Williamson now up into the 9th position. Moved Cole Cabry back to 10th.
It's fun when you deal with the teams, Jeff, different team drivers. You were talking about RS Center being on the same team as Ryan Kuhn. Ryan Kuhn running 3rd, RS Center running 20th. And then you've got situations where Parker Traves, Daniel Pope, and Cole Cabry all on the same team. And the first two are in the top 5. Cole Cabry around 10th. And they're all probably on a very similar setups, Jeff. So it's interesting to see how the strategies were. Now, Cole Cabry, something going on with the 18 machine. He is off the pace on the front straightaway.
Would it be a low blow to say maybe he blew a motor right there?
I mean, yes, probably.
Well, don't know what's happening with the 18 of Cole Cabry, but he is on the apron, so I think he might be bailing out of this race, possibly.
He was one of those drivers that was not excited to be running Richmond.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a situation where he just said, you know what, I'm not going to win tonight, let's just park it, but 18 down on the pit road, and I think that's going to be the end of the night for Cole Cabry.
Wow. It looks like he has hit the ejector button, so Cole Cabry done for the evening.
Well, I also think we lost RS Center as well. I think RS has called it a night as well. So that strategy I said with the RKM team, you know, having two different strategies is now out the window. It all comes down to Ryan Kuhn to beat the shop, and the shop's got what, 3-4 cars in this race. So that's a tall task for Ryan Kuhn right now.
I mean, it's not a bad thing when you're putting your money on Ryan Kuhn, though, right?
Right, yeah. Well, speaking of Ryan Kuhn, he is starting to chase down Daniel Pope, who's fallen about 1 second behind race leader Joe Schaefer. And now Ryan Kuhn has caught the 16 machine.
Good battle on the racetrack, Jeff. Kyle Meyer, John Walletter side by side. Kyle Meyer trying to make the move. Right behind them, Dylan Bates and Spencer Dickinson are watching this battle. Trying to get, I would imagine they're going to try to follow Kyle Meyer through, but Wallette doing a good job on top.
Yeah, Meyer and Ouellette battling hard down the back straightaway behind them. That's Dylan Bates and Spencer Dickinson in the 6 machine. And they're going to be looking to see which lane makes the move here. It looks like Kyle Meyer, he's given so much room to the 8 machine, but it's kind of killing his momentum off the corner.
We've seen this car all season. That car on the top just continues to gain speed. That was one thing in the Super, Jeff. It got to top speed so fast that the car on the top could not do anything because the car would come off the bottom and just keep pace with it. This car isn't like that. The car on the top just continues. You'll see it right here, even though it's a curved straightaway, Wallette draws back even with the 88 down the front straightaway.
And you can see the 91, just no place to go. And he's got a lot of speed, but it's allowing the 6 to catch up with him as well. And he just can't quite get clear of this group racing side by side as Johnny Ouellette now finally falls back a spot. He's going to try to get down in line, but Spencer Dickinson put the car down there and said, no way, and Ouellette's still trying.
Still tight. And Wallette got into the back of Dylan Bates down the front straightaway. That was almost a problem. Bates able to save it while Ouellette falls behind Spencer Dickinson.
And now Ouellette's going to battle back here. He's going to go back underneath the 6 machine. This is a battle for 13th on the racetrack. But while we were watching that battle, Daniel Pope, once Ryan Kuhn caught him, he let him go. So Ryan Kuhn is up into the 2nd position now as Ouellette takes that spot back from Spencer Dickinson. Dickinson's going to come right back down the back straightaway. Didn't quite get the run, but he might be there by turn 3.
And while that's going to open the door for him, Dickinson looked like he wasn't going to take no for an answer. And they'll stay side by side off of turn number 4. But again, that outside just carries momentum down the front straightaway. While it not able to clear, you can see that entry into 1 is very difficult for that outside car. They have no idea where the guy in the bottom is going to be. But off of 2, there it goes. The 8 starts to pull ahead.
Well, Dickinson and Ouellette having a heck of a battle for the 13th spot in front of them. Dylan Bates has also caught the 88 of Kyle Meyer. But we are 53 laps into this one, past halfway now, and I got to wonder if it's starting to get to that point where you got to start using up some tire to draw yourself back to the front. Some of these guys are nearly half a track behind at this point.
Joe Schaefer's running a little bit slower than Ryan Kuhn behind him. Daniel Pope a little bit slower than Joe Schaefer. Things are starting to heat up towards the front. Matt Rolfe been saving tires all race long. He is just a little bit ahead of Joe Schaefer Jr. to go a lap down. So Rolfe probably needs to get on the gas here shortly.
Well, Dylan Bates just went around Kyle Meyer, and that might open up the door for Spencer Dickinson as well, as Meyer actually drops down in front of the 6th machine. So move Kyle Meyer back to 12th, Dylan Bates up to 11th. It's like Kyle Eli and Shane Williamson also having a bit of a battle, as I think they just went around Dustin Momberquet. So Shane Williamson up into the 7th spot now, as he got around Kyle Eli. So Eli back to 8th, Dustin Momberquet 9th.
We're going to show you on the speed shot on the back straightaway how spread out this field has become. Some of the guys running by themselves out here.
Yeah, Aaron Johnson in the 10th spot. You can see he's all by himself on the racetrack right now. Joe Schaefer has now caught lap traffic. He is gaining on the last place running car, or the 20th place running car of Matt Rolfe. Schaefer's lead, it was about 1.4 seconds when Kuhn got around Daniel Pope. It is down to 9/10 of a second. So Ryan Kuhn is cutting into this lead now. Joe Schaefer has been out front for quite a while. Josh Caudle has gotten around Daniel Pope, so move Caudle up into the 3rd spot. Pope back to 4th. Parker Traves runs 5th with Trevor Edwards right on his tail.
Daniel Pope's trying to get a run on Josh Caudle down the back straightaway. He does. Caudle slipped a little bit off of turn number 2. Pope to the inside through 3 and 4. He'll take that spot away as they come off of turn 4. Caudle battle back on the outside. But here's the death knell of guys on the outside. Going down into turn number 1, you just can't keep up with the car on the bottom. This is what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to cross him over, come down the back straightaway. Can't do it. Daniel Pope back into 3rd.
Well, Matt Rolfe up the racetrack and will let the leaders go. So Joe Schaefer goes by, but again, that lead down to about 8/10 of a second last time by. It's 8.5 for Ryan Kuhn that time.
A little bit surprised that Matt Rolfe didn't have more in the tank, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to be the first car 1 lap down now. If he can just keep pace with the leader, he'd be back on the lead lap if the yellow comes out. So it's not over yet, but he's going to need some help. He's going to need a caution here to recover in this race.
Devin Rogers not far from going a lap down as well, and then there is a massive gap to the next car.
And Caudle back underneath Daniel Pope through 1 and 2. So Pope opened up the door. He's going to try to come back underneath the 13. And Caudle sends it off into turn 3, made sure that didn't happen.
I think this is going to be a good battle right here as Caudle needs to try to get away from Pope. Parker Traves is there as well, so is Trevor Edwards. So any kind of passes now between those two drivers, between Pope and Caudle. And now Caudle, you see, slip a little bit coming off of turn 2 again. So he got high off of 2, but if those guys start to battle, Jeff, those other cars behind them will probably follow the guy. If Pope is able to make the move on Caudle, those guys are right there now to follow through.
Yeah, that's 2 16 XCI cars of the 16 and the 60. Daniel Pope, Parker Traves battling with the 2 shop cars. And I'm sure the shop guys right now are thinking, hey, you're not part of the team challenge. Why are you racing us so hard?
It's not all about the team challenge yet. Guys just want to go forward. Guys want to finish as well as they possibly can.
Spencer Dickinson underneath Aaron Johnson. Dylan Bates had gotten around him as well, so Aaron's starting to slip back as Dylan Bates up to the 10th spot. Spencer Dickinson going to try to take a position away.
Look at that black line through 1 and 2, Jeff. The right side tires have got to be wearing on these cars as we are working lap 64. We have gone green from the opening start. The first start of the race. Not had a yellow. I feel confident saying that, Jeff, because these guys are doing such a fantastic job. Usually I feel like I would jinx it.
Well, Shane Williamson and Kyle Eli still battling hard as well. Eli got around Shane Williamson. Williamson throws the car back into turn 3, clears the 21 again. So moves Shane back up to the 7th position. But Kyle Eli is not done. He is wandering all over the place trying to find out which way the 33 is going to go so he can go the opposite. And Shane's getting pretty defensive here.
Yeah, Williamson ran a pretty defensive line down the front straightaway. Really didn't apex to the wall. Eli really didn't think to make the move. Said it's probably not going to be a good idea, but Eli going to get a good run off of turn number 4. He's going to close the gap, and I don't know if he's going to be able to make a move into 1.
Well, Bill, I can tell you out front, Joe Schaefer, that big lead that he had, it is gone. Ryan Kuhn is there as Joe Schaefer was working his way through traffic. He got around Devin Rogers, and that just allowed Ryan Kuhn to pull within striking distance. So we are about to have a race for the lead because at lap 68, Ryan Kuhn has now answered the call, and he is right there with Joe Schaefer.
Yeah, at this point, we should hear the Jaws music, right? Is that what we're kind of hearing from Ryan
Yeah,
Kuhn?
He's probably looking in the mirror and thinking, oh, no, he's finally caught me.
Reminds me of that Tony Stewart video where he said in the car, "Here, kitty, 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 kitty."
Well, Parker's
running him down.
Yeah, Parker Traves making the move underneath Daniel Pope as well, and Pope's just going to let his teammate go in the 60s. So Traves a little bit quicker at this stage in the race. Move him up into the 4th spot. Daniel Pope back to 5th.
Looked for a second like Pope was going to cross him over, and I thought that's not like Pope. He usually would let his teammate go, and he did. Traves up to 4th, Pope back to 5th. Trevor Edwards wasn't close enough to take advantage of that. Trevor Edwards starting to fall behind these guys.
Well, remember Bill earlier when John Ouellette was sliding through the field? He is now making the move around Dylan Bates, and they banged doors a little bit there last time by. Dylan Bates making it tough on the 8 of John Ouellette, but Ouellette is starting to turn up the heat again. He started 2nd, fell way back. I think he was back to about 15th spot, and now he's up to 11th here.
Well, we've talked to some of these guys when they get an opportunity to run green flag laps, and now Dylan Bates going to look underneath the 8 way down the front straightaway. This is going to shallow up his entry quite a bit. Battling back, Dylan Bates, Ouellette right on the door through 1 and 2, tight racing off of turn 2.
Yeah, these guys aren't giving each other much, are they?
But we've talked to some of these guys, and if they have an opportunity to do some of the tire saving, and oh my goodness, Ouellette's going to get into Bates, just drove into the left rear, and Bates is going to save it.
Well, Bill, up front as well, we got a battle. Ryan Kuhn's going for the lead, and Schaefer didn't even challenge. He moved up the racetrack, let the 72 go. New race leader, Ryan Kuhn.
Well, I'm not going to leave this Dylan Bates battle, Jeff. There's been contact between these two drivers, and I don't think either one of them liked it. Ouellette took some damage to the right front of the number 8 machine as he straightened the 91 back out. It looks like Bates' car looks pretty good.
Well, Aaron Johnson behind that battle watching it as Ryan Kuhn up front going to start opening up that lead. It's already 0.3 of a second. The 72 machine is just absolutely flying right now. Running 22.5s.
That doesn't seem fair, does it? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm looking through the field. The other car that's with the speed that Ryan Kuhn has is Parker Traves. But Traves is about 2.9 seconds back. He is running 22.5s as well. So there's some speed left in that 60 car, but the question is, can he make up a nearly 3-second gap here?
Yeah, with only 25 laps remaining, that does not seem like, it seems like a very tall task, right? That would be hard to do with Ryan Kuhn running the laps that he is running. And in fact, now Kuhn stays in the 5s, Parker Traves drops into the 6s. And in fact, Joe Schaefer just ran faster than Ryan Kuhn.
It's almost like as soon as Schaefer got past, that car got a little bit better. I don't know if it's clean air, dirty air, and making that car better. Who knows? But Schaefer picked up the pace a little bit as soon as he got past there.
Josh Caudle's into the 5. Now Traves back into the... It's consistency, Jeff. We don't know what these guys really can run at this point. But Joe Schaefer Jr. starting to make some moves now in the 6 as he's starting to run right with Ryan Kuhn. Kuhn just a tick faster that last lap.
Well, these guys got a long way to go before they hit any more lap traffic. Up the road is Aaron Avendroth, who runs 18th on the racetrack, but he's got a full straightaway. So I don't know if they'd even get to Aaron before this one is over. So right now it is a 2-horse race out front, and we'll keep an eye on if anybody starts making a charge towards the front here late.
Joe Schaefer Jr. A little bit quicker than Ryan Kuhn that last lap. And now Parker Traves has dropped off a little bit on that lap. Jeff, one of the cars seems to be struggling is Trevor Edwards.
Yeah, he got passed by Shane Williamson and Kyle Eli. These two are really moving through the field. Shane Williamson kind of sunk back early on. He's back up to the sixth position. Kyle Eli started 19th. He is up to 7th, and he has just been on a steady climb to the front ever since the drop of the green flag.
They're doing that two-man power tango, Jeff. That's what I like to call that, with two cars basically lock horns. And they are doing that right now as Eli going to look to the inside of Shane Williamson coming off of turn number 4. This time I think he has an opportunity to make this move.
Yeah, Eli going to take that spot, but it looks like Williamson going to try to go back underneath him. Not going to do it. He thought better of it going down the back straightaway. Going to just follow the 21 for a bit as they are still gaining on the guys in front of him. That's Daniel Pope, the next car ahead.
I'm not sure he timed it right. I think that was the problem. I think he tried to time the crossover. Now Ryan Kuhn started to get away from Joe Schaefer Jr. Schaefer Jr. started to match Ryan Kuhn's times there for a bit. Even do a little bit better, but now he's fallen about 2/10 off the pace. Ryan Kuhn staying consistent in the low 5s. Man, he is flying at this point in the race.
Well, Bill, if we go back to about the 13th position, there is a gaggle of cars with Dylan Bates and Aaron Johnson, and Johnson just got in the back of the 91, got him sideways. Here comes Kyle Eli and Kyle Martinson, who were battling side by side, and this group right here is just piled on top of each other. 3 wide down into turn 1. Martinson on the inside. Meyer's going to back out of it. Aaron Johnson's going to make the run up on the top side.
These guys getting rough.
Yeah, here comes Sean Cool into the mix in the 24 machine. He's starting to creep into this group.
Now here comes Kyle Meyer. This is more of what I expected to see, Jeff. Where you get all these runs, cars all over the racetrack. Guys running high in one corner, get momentum, and able to drop to the bottom going to the next quarter. Here we go, 2x2 down the back straightaway. Great battle right here for 15th.
Yeah, Martinson on the top side of Kyle Meyer. Aaron Johnson made the move to drop down in front of Sean Cool. He wants to be on the bottom side of the racetrack. He thinks that's going to be the preferred lane as Kyle Meyer trying to get ahead of Kyle Martinson. Now he does. He'll clear the 07. Well, Ryan Kuhn has started to open up the lead. That speed that Joe Schaefer showed for just a bit there, starting to go away as Ryan Kuhn still running 22.5. Schaefer back into the 22.7s, and it is now nearly a 1 second lead for Ryan Kuhn last time by. Well, we were working lap 85 from the green flag. No cautions yet tonight, and it's late model stock. I mean, this has been interesting the way the tire strategy works out. The question is, has anybody burned up too much tire this early? I mean, there's still quite a few laps to go here.
I mean, still, what, 13 laps remaining in this race? Ryan Kuhn continues. He just ran a 4 last lap.
Wow. Wow.
And then backs it up with a 4. 1,000 slower than the previous lap. Ryan Kuhn is a machine right now. That car is absolutely flying. It's getting faster as the race wears on. Joe Schaefer's in the 7s. Josh Caudle in the 5s behind them. Parker Traves a little bit quicker than Caudle. And he's starting to close the gap, Jeff. That's starting to become a very close race between Parker Traves and Josh Caudle for 3rd.
Yeah, Kyle Eli as well is starting to gain on Daniel Pope. So the 16 machine might be under fire here pretty quickly. But yeah, as you said, Ryan Kuhn, I mean, even when he runs a 5, it's a very low 5. He is absolutely the fastest car on the racetrack. He has opened up that gap to nearly 2 seconds now over Joe Schaefer. Actually, make that 2.5 seconds. Schaefer really had a terrible lap last time. I don't know what might have happened with the 6, but he lost nearly a second there.
Yeah, let's take a look at Joe Schaefer, see if he is still struggling. You start to wonder if there's a situation where that tire just goes, Jeff, if he was pushing too hard early. Now he's 22.9, so he's still off the pace. 4/10 quicker than his last lap.
Look at that car wiggle.
It is wiggling. Something's not right with a 6. He might have gotten rid of a tire.
Yeah, that car made a big-time wiggle going into turn 1. And here comes Josh Caudle. Caudle is catching him very quickly right now as the 6 looks like it is an absolute handful. Well, Ryan Kuhn's opened up that lead to 3.3 seconds out front. Now the question is, can Caudle and Parker Traves catch Joe Schaefer here? This could be a battle for second.
Yeah, Joe Schaefer still running 8s. The guys behind him are in the 6s. And you can see that car still wiggling. Wonder what he's dealing with. It's such an odd movement. It's not like it's loose, Jeff, but it's just wiggling all over the racetrack. So something not right on the 6, and he is struggling. Oh, now he's loose. That right rear's going away on the 6.
Yeah, right rear tire troubles there for the 6 car, and he is absolutely manhandling it around the racetrack, but it just has no speed right now as Josh Caudle to the inside. This is the battle for second. Here comes Parker Traves as well in the 60 machine. And Joe Schaefer, there's just nothing he can do. He's going to leave the door open for the 60, let him go.
So Schaefer, that car is just gone. So that's the situation, Jeff, where I think he ran out thinking we were going to get some yellows. We did not. So his tires are now cooked. We're about to get 6 laps remaining, making about 5.5 left in this race.
Well, here comes Kyle Eli. Eli was able to get around Daniel Pope while we were watching that battle with Joe Schaefer, and Eli's got a lot of speed left as well, as he is now catching Schaefer, and Schaefer going to probably give him the inside. He does. He's going to stick that car to the outside and just let these guys go as Eli slips by into the 4th position, move Joe Schaefer back to 5th, but here comes Daniel Pope looking for a top 5 tonight.
Yeah, Daniel Pope there as well. The car behind Pope is Matt Rolfe. He is a lap down. But Rolfe still has some speed in that car as he's even in the 7s.
So it's 4.3 up for Ryan Kuhn out front as he is just untouched right now. Josh Caudle, Parker Traves. Traves has actually caught Caudle as well. So again, we might have another battle going on for second here with about 4 laps to go in this one. Schaefer's going to be under fire from Shane Williamson, who runs in the 7th spot. He has caught the 6 machine. And there's just nothing Schaefer can do. I mean, the cornering speeds are just so much faster for everybody else right now.
Yeah, that right rear on that 6 car is just toast. Here comes Trevor Edwards in the 32, and we saw Trevor back off a while ago. Wonder if he got a warning. Your crew chief will usually let you know you've got problems.
And now the 32 machine makes the move him up into the 7th spot. Joe Schaefer back into 8th. So ways back to Dustin Marquette, who's got Spencer Dickinson in tow in the top 10. And now Parker Traves looking underneath Josh Caudle down the back straightaway. 2 laps to go. Ryan Kuhn's going to see the white flag this time. And Ryan Kuhn is out front and has got nobody around him. It's 4.8 seconds back to Josh Caudle.
Ryan Kuhn gone down the back straightaway. Wow, what a breeze for the 72 machine this evening.
And off turn 4, Ryan Kuhn going to win the Caudle Captures 100. Looking back to see it. 2nd place at the line. Caudle's up the racetrack. Parker Traves has a run, but Caudle's going to hold on for 2nd. Parker Traves finishes 3rd. Looks like Kyle Eli going to come home 4th. Daniel Pope in the top 5.
Shane Williamson will finish 6th. Trevor Edwards 7th. Joe Schaefer Jr. slid back to 8th. Spencer Dickinson 9th. Dustin Marquette finishes 10th. John Wallett 11th. Kyle Meyer 12th. Kyle Martinson finished 13th. Sean Cool 14th. And Eric Tracy rounds out your top 15.
Looking further back, Dylan Bates finished 17th. Aaron Johnson fell all the way back to 17th on that late run there. Aaron Abendroth 18th, Devin Rogers 19th, Matt Rolfe 20th, and then RS Center and Cole Cabrey, your 22 starters tonight. And I mean, just pure domination tonight for Ryan Kuhn. I mean, he won the pole by a lot, and I wasn't sure, if qualifying speed was going to be a real sign of what was to come in the race, but it was, Bill. He was that much better than everybody else tonight.
Yeah, just unbelievably better, right? I was thinking the same thing. He had a lot of cars to pass because of the way that they line him up. He started 6th, right? So I thought those guys won't be that bad, and he's going to have to pass these guys. They'll pace correctly, and he just had an unbeatable setup in that car. And obviously, it's Ryan Kuhn. So when he gets a good setup and you know, Ryan's in the behind the wheel. He's really tough to beat, and he put a whooping on him tonight.
Well, and just fantastic racing overall. I mean, how many times do you see a sim race in a late model short track race go 100 laps caution free? I mean,
Right.
unbelievable job by everybody tonight.
Right. Yeah. Good racing, a lot of passing, a lot of battling on the racetrack, a lot of crossovers, a lot of racing on the racetrack, and nobody made contact. No, well, there was some contact, but no major issues, no spins, and we go 100 laps, flag to flag. That's impressive.
Well, joining us now, our race winner tonight, Ryan Kuhn. And Ryan, I get the feeling it was a pretty dominant night because you set quick time, you win the race, and you single handedly won the team challenge, the Davis Chassis Works team tournament. How good was that race car tonight?
Oh my god, this thing was a beast. I think this is the best piece we've had all season. Um, that race went green and checker. That worked out right in our favor because I knew we had a really good long run car. Just kind of had to manage it a little bit early, but I knew it was go time around halfway, and I knew this thing was good enough to get to the lead. It just a matter of what lap I was going to get it on. I saw Schaefer getting really really loose there. He's looks like he was beating his right rear a little bit early on in the race, and I just tried the best I could to keep the right rear on the car, and was actually getting a little loose there with 5 laps to go. But all in all, this thing is this thing is killer.
Well, talk about how you drove the race, Ryan. You said you waited about halfway to go. Was there a lap time you were trying to meet at the beginning, or are you just driving by feel, knowing how hard you want to push the car early?
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. Early on it was just kind of manage track position and try to just stay up front while trying to manage the tires, which this car was really good to do that. I was able to keep the track position, get my track position the first couple laps, and just kind of maintain. And I knew some of them guys are pushing it pretty hard, and it's just so unpredictable because honestly, I did not expect this race to not have a yellow, go green and checkered. But I mean, this one incredible race and one incredible race car, and but after, like I said, just manage the pace and yeah, it just everything worked out perfect.
Or Ryan, you come into tonight, you were, I believe it was about 10 points back of Trevor Edwards in the standings. And now you come out with a win, a fast time. You got to feel pretty confident as we're starting to get down to the end of the season that you're still in the hunt for this championship.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good. The good thing with me is I think my worst finish is sixth all season, and this was the sixth race. So I mean, the stats are there. I feel like last week I kind of screwed myself a little bit. I thought we could have won that race easily last week, but it was just so hard to judge yellows and just didn't have the track position when I needed it. But all in all, great comeback this week. I knew I love these bigger tracks. I don't know what it is. I was really disappointed when I saw Martinsville off that schedule, but um, after doing some testing, I knew we had a hot rod for tonight, and our I found some Q speed last second, and just all in all worked out good.
Yeah, you were over a tenth quicker than everybody in Q, so super impressive, Ryan. But I mean, we've been talking to you a lot recently, right? So why don't you roll off that list of the folks that help you get the speed of the race car? I know you're a lot of that with the RKM on the shop, but or on the side there, the setup shop. But go ahead and give thanks to all the guys that help you out.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank my real life sponsor, Everett's Auto Parts, for the real life opportunity. Can't wait to go racing with them again this weekend, actually. Bernier's Liquors, Modern Auto Body, all my guys at RKM. Give me some great feedback, and I feel like I let them down last night, but hopefully next week's redemption. Coastal Heritage Bank, 01 Designs, Justin Brooks Designs for this beautiful throwback paint scheme to my dad. I just wanted to get him in victory lane and get his old paint scheme in victory lane, and it's this thing's a beaut. You guys in the booth, everyone with SARA. I mean, this league Super Series is absolutely the most incredible series or league on the service. This is incredible.
Well, Ryan, I think the last time we talked to you, you were still kind of up in the air about when your next race would be with the late model up there in the Northeast. Do you have any announcements, any plans of where people could see you race if they want to go see run a real life late model?
Yeah, so this weekend we'll be at Lee USA Speedway with the Pro Stock. I think it's 80 laps. I'm not sure what broadcasting network it's on yet due to their rights, but I know the Whelen Modified Tour is there this weekend on Flow. I'm not really sure if our race is on Flow or not, but we're gonna got some big races coming up. July 14th, Friday night at Lee USA Speedway on Cup weekend with Kyle Busch. That'll be a cool one. Seekonk Bay State Classic, July 29th. Oxford 250 the last weekend in August. That's gonna be one heck of a show. But all in all, limited schedule this year, but just finding the money, looking for the money.
Well, Ryan, good job tonight, and we look forward to seeing how you do in the real car this weekend. Good luck.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Well, joining us now, our second place finisher, Josh Caudle, and Josh, you were starting to make gains there at the end. You were gaining on the leaders. You were able to get up to second. But was it the car? Was it race strategy? What were you missing tonight that let Ryan Kuhn kind of get away there?
A lot of things. He was lights out. Like I don't. There's no chance I could hang out with him or anything. But man, I know some people would probably be disappointed, but I'm freaking happy about a P2 finish, especially here and how rough of a season I've had here lately. But man, I'm just happy with that.
At some point, Jeff, I think we're gonna get Caudle where he's actually like cocky. You know,
Ain't gonna happen.
But tell us more detail, Josh. Like, what did the car? You said there's a lot of things, but what did the car need? What were you feeling as you're running through the race? And there was a point there right at the end where Traves caught you. Were you struggling with the car a little bit? What was happening as you went around the racetrack?
Speed.
That's
We
not an
needed some
answer,
speed.
Josh. We're talking specifics here.
It was getting pretty tight there at the end. I was really having to put a lot of wheel into it. And I think that's why Traves caught me. I was having to use everything I possibly could. I mean, from lap 50 to lap 100, I was just trying to keep the right rear hot and driving the heck out of it. But I don't know. It'd have been really hard to like have anything for Kuhn. Traves was pretty fast, and I even told him like, man, 10 more laps you would have got me. But I mean, I had to race him hard. But as soon as he got like a nose in front of me, I was just gonna give it to him because I just needed a good finish, man. I was struggling here lately, and I'm just happy with this.
Well, Josh, the points are now updated. You're fourth in points. You're 69 back of Ryan Kuhn, who's the new points leader. Trevor Edwards, 2 back of him. So now you guys are heading into a stretch of real short tracks. It looks like Langley, possibly Nashville Mini. I don't know if that race is supposed to change or not. 5 Flags and Lanier. Do you feel a little bit more confident now? You guys are going back to some of the more traditional short tracks versus a big speedway like Richmond now.
Oh, 100%, man. I like these cars better in short tracks. But I don't know. Tonight, I was just not a fan. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it just had too much grip, and then I feel like a broken record saying that, guys. I don't know. I like these cars way better on the short tracks, and I'm pretty excited for Langley, honestly, because I think it's just gonna be a lot more racy and have more like strategies versus everybody just going all out.
It's funny that Josh says he's not going to be cocky. I keep sitting on the same thing because I talk to Josh more often, I think, than I talk to my wife because we're always interviewing him. He's been doing so well in this late model stock. But who do you want to give thanks to, Josh? Because we are always talking to you, man. You've been fantastic in this late model stock. And who do you want to give thanks to that helps you get that speed?
Of course, but first of all, I want to thank y'all for doing the broadcast and thank Matt for putting on the league. I've had so much fun with this league, and I'm very happy to be here. And also, I want to thank the shop guys. Obviously, Trevor put a ton of work this week. Same with Alex McCollum. Even though he wasn't able to race, they pretty much just put the car together, and I was just a helmet holder because I've struggled at for this big track. But I've got to thank them, of course, everybody at the shop. Man, I couldn't do it without them, and I appreciate them all. Thank you to Elite Performance Industries and Rocket iRace Wraps for this beautiful new scheme that I got a pretty darn good finish that I'm very happy with.
He's a helmet
Our-
holder. Second
Yeah.
in the SARA Super Series, and Josh Caudle's a helmet holder.
Well, Josh, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. Good run tonight, and then we'll look forward to seeing how you do next week, next Thursday night at Langley for the TP3D Designs 125.
Thank you.
Well, now joining us, our third place finisher, Parker Traves. And Parker, it's been a up and down season for you. It seems like you have a good run, then you guys missed it a little bit, then you have come back and have a good run. And tonight, you came out with a third place finish, but it looked like you might have been a little bit quicker than second at the end there. Did it just come down to strategy, or was the car just missing a little something?
I think I just saved enough tire to kind of be there at the end. Just needed a caution. We were still tacked down a little bit too much, but I think we're close. Better than what we've been.
Yeah, Parker, we talked to you quite a bit during the week, right? We're all kind of buddies, and have been very down. Well, I actually started to call you salty, I think, today. So are we going to get a little bit of a happier Parker with a third place run here in the SARA Super Series?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think so. Like it's frustrating how bad we've been, and we just need to work on it and be better.
Well, it's tonight that feeling. I mean, is that the car was good tonight? I mean, you guys drove towards the front. Daniel Pope runs a top 5 as well. Team car. So does it feel like you guys made some gains this week, or maybe just here at Richmond?
Oh, 100%. I brought something new to the table to Daniel, and he tweaked on it, and he had this thing rolling pretty good. I think he's gonna make some more improvements on it. I think the boys for Contender are gonna do pretty good next week. So Jason, he's been on our tire program all week. He's had that thing dialed in. So everything just clicked tonight, and we'll be better. I think we just need to keep moving forward with it.
Well, Parker, we were talking to Caudle just a bit ago about, this is kind of the last big speedway on the schedule. Now we're heading to more traditional short tracks, Langley, Five Flags, Linear, and stuff like that. Did what you learned this week, is that going to carry over to those more traditional, shorter tracks?
I think so. I think we got down the kind of the feel we need to save tire and the the way the car is. We were trying to set it up so much like the old Super and just wasn't working. And we brought something new to the table, and it seemed to save tire a lot better than what everyone else was. Talking to Caudle and Kuhn, I had the best tires at the end, so I think moving forward we'll be okay.
Well, that is if they were telling you the truth.
Yeah, I can never trust those guys.
I know what the car's missing. I think the ITZR being off the hood has made it a whole lot slower, but
We can make that happen.
but
You
Parker,
know,
go ahead. What's up?
that deal's still not off the table.
You're too expensive for us now, Parker. You're in the top 3, top 5 too often.
Wow, you want the promotion?
Anyway, so the car's gotten better this week. Who do you want to thank for the speed other than Daniel Pope? Just go ahead and thank the whole list.
Daniel, Jason Warren, he's been working hard on tires. Um, Cam Hamilton, all the guys at SPM, Dylan Bates, everyone works hard. It's a good team effort. We just we need to practice more, and we don't do that enough. So I think this has got the ambition rolling a bit more. As you said, I was salty today, but I think this will get it going a bit
Every
better.
day.
And well, we've been asked, so it makes sense.
Whoa,
Are we allowed to say that on the
There's
broadcast?
kids.
Oh,
There's
my bad.
kids. Golly.
Well, Bill, I think that sponsorship just got cheaper.
Gotta get a hold of Matt and say we have to dock him 50 points from the championship standings like Dale Jr. back in
I'm
Talladega.
so far down the list, anyways. It's okay.
Well, Parker, before we let you go, I think I saw that you guys got rained out your last attempt at racing the Legend. What's next for you if people want to come see you run the Legend up there in Canada?
Well, I did race Monday.
Oh, okay.
and
He
I
got a dub
won.
on Monday.
But it's unofficial. They
Unofficial?
confiscated my right front rim and tire, and they sent it out to be examined. So I don't know if I won yet, but when I do, I'll keep you updated.
All right. Well, what's next for you?
I depends if they toss me or not for it, but if it's good, we're gonna race Peterborough next weekend.
All right. So Parker needs his rim back so he can race next weekend. But thanks, Parker, for taking the time to talk with us. Good job tonight. Congratulations. Top 3 finished in the Super Series. That's still impressive.
Yes, thank you guys.
All right, Bill. Well, that is going to be a wrap for us tonight. I mean, green to checkered finish. I mean, that's always cool to see. I know it's sometimes the viewers like to see the close bumping and rubbing and racing and stuff, but I think Richmond put on a pretty darn good show tonight.
Yeah, I prefer not to have all the bumping and rubbing and crashing. I think that was pretty fun. It was fun to watch the strategies play out as the race went on and to see who was saving tires and who wasn't. Interesting for Parker to say that he had better tires than Caudle and Kuhn up there up front. So if he had gotten a yellow, maybe that 60 car has something for those top two guys. But it's a good race, man. I think it was fun to watch. I enjoy Richmond, and we go on to next week. Like you said, a lot more short track racing coming up.
Yeah, next week, round number 7, Thursday night from Langley, the TP3 Designs 125. Remember, it is an off week for the Elite Performance Industries Late Model Shootout Series and the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger. So, Bill, just one race next week. We just got one show to do on Thursday night. So, make sure you're following us on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Twitch. We'll be back in action. I believe it's about 7 p.m. Eastern Thursday night. We will see you there.